Welcome to the J. Frank Norris Historical Society. I hold in my hand a classic book that was published in 1934. And in this book, there is the complete argument that J. Frank Norris made in his debate with Mr. Foy Wallace, who represented at that time the viewpoint of the Church of Christ, dealing with 4 different questions. And tonight I want to just give you a brief summary of issue number 1. And I would hope that this book could be republished. At this time, I'm not able to find enough books that I might be able to fulfill any requests that you might have. But I would encourage you, if you possibly could ever come in contact with this book, this will be an eye-opener and a brilliant reaffirmation of the Baptist faith in the traditional sense of the word. And in this book, you will find the core beliefs of J. Frank Norris are vividly expressed in the Norris-Wallace debate, which took place in 1934 in the historic First Baptist Church of Fort Worth, Texas. Taking the affirmative side of question number 1, Dr. Norris, in a convincing manner, proclaimed that Christ will someday return in splendor and in great glory to this earth and establish a literal kingdom on this earth. This issue has been a divisive one for past generations. The belief in the premillennial coming of Christ has not always been accepted as a reality in the Christian community. But thanks to the great biblical scholars of late, and there are many of them, and with an in-depth study so prevalent, most evangelical Christians now accept the premise with little or no hesitation. The notion that the kingdom is now in actual reality flies in the face of looking at the calamitous condition of present-day events. It doesn't take a whole lot of common sense to see that the kingdom which the postmillennialists espouse is contradicted by what we see in this present-day world situation. Indeed, it is not a pretty picture at all. Thus, it is easy to refute any concept of any existing kingdom at this present time. The early church, up until 300 AD, believed as we do. When I say we, I'm talking about evangelical Christians, and that would include Baptists, Methodists, and even some Church of Christ, strange as it may seem, are coming around to accepting the premillennial concept of the coming of Christ and the coming kingdom as presented in the Old Testament. And with doctrinal issues, there inevitably arises self-appointed people who do a disservice to sound doctrine by initiating extraneous factors into the fundamental equation. A case in point is the appearance in 1844 of those who sought to name the date of Christ's return. These were called Millerites, and their offspring is still with us. But such folly has never been a part of biblical scholarship. Dr. Norris pointed out in the debate there are 3 classes of clerics opposed to the premillennial coming of Christ. First, there are the Romanists. They don't believe in the premillennial concept as we do as Baptists, and especially fundamentalists. So The three, again, Romanists, the Modernists, and the Denominationalists, none of which existed in the New Testament church. And that's a very important point to take into consideration. In conclusion, Dr. Norris relies on scriptural verification to sustain his contentions. In Matthew 25, verse 31, just citing one verse, it states, "When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, then shall he sit on the throne of his glory." Friends, that is yet to come, and it is not taking place at this present time. So in this historic debate, Dr. Norris cited biblical evidence from all 66 books of the Bible that a literal kingdom will one day be established in which Christ will reign for 1,000 years in fulfillment of the great day of triumph. Interpreting the multiplicity of scriptures on this subject is in an otherwise allegorical sense leads to all kinds of misconceptions. And this is precisely what we face and why we face so many diverse viewpoints. Just another reason why the J. Frank Norris website exists, that his voice may be heard. He, being dead, yet he speaketh. And friends, that's my purpose, to try to convey to you the real J. Frank Norris that I knew and sat under his ministry for at least 20 years. Thank you for listening. May God bless the United States of America.